They call it fantasy, Atlantis in Aquaman, mermaids in The Little Mermaid, Talokan in Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, even Moana's ocean, alive, moving, guiding. Over and over, Hollywood shows us a pattern: civilizations under the sea, ancient powers, beings who rule beneath the waters. From Godzilla to Avatar, The Way of Water, from Pirates of the Caribbean to The Abyss, the same message echoes. There is a world in the deep, a kingdom hidden below the surface. But here's the question: are these just stories, or are they whispers of something the Bible has always revealed? Genesis 1:2 says, "Darkness was upon the face of the deep." Psalm 74:13-14, "You broke the heads of Leviathan in the waters." Revelation 13:1, "And I saw a beast rising out of the sea." Why does every culture, every myth, every blockbuster movie point us back to the same place, the waters? Could it be that the so-called living water kingdom is more than a fairy tale, but a spiritual reality hidden in plain sight? Hollywood baptizes it as entertainment, but Scripture unmasks it as war. So the question remains, when they show us kingdoms under the sea, what are they really preparing us to accept? Subscribe and stay woke.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. As you can see, we are still on the topic of covering the water kingdom. It's been a journey, and we are just kind of getting beneath the surface of it all. If you haven't watched the first two videos of this series, actually I think it's three, because you got the introduction, then you got Leviathan, and you got me going over Genesis 1-2. So if you haven't watched those videos, what I'm saying now, if you're just jumping in right now, it may not flow, make sense to you. But just to give you an overview, like a quick recap, we're breaking down when in Genesis 1-2, the Most High said there was darkness over waters. We're now pulling back layers, and we're asking ourselves, well, what is darkness? And through the videos, we have determined, or we have let Scripture point out, darkness represents an entity. It's not just to be without light, to go into a dark room. So now that we have uncovered that this darkness represents an actual entity, right? Well, now we have now kind of started to point out figures in this entity, powers in this entity. So now, as we have went from going to Scripture, breaking it down with the Strongs and the Strong's Concordance, reading it from different versions, talking about some of the figures, Leviathan being in the waters, talking about the beast rising up out the sea in Revelations. We've kind of painted this picture deeply, and I just really want to lay out, like, it's very important that we understand and be convicted, or dig deeper. Like, again, this is you. I try to lay it out for you to open up the Scripture and ask questions for yourself and pray on it for yourself. So if you make this decision, you are convicted by you searching and finding it out to be real for yourself. I'm just laying it out from my perspective of what my eyes have seen for reading this Scripture. And I really just believe that it's so important that we really open our eyes to this water kingdom, because we have to understand that the same way, if you're walking in light, right? So remember, he came down, it was darkness, but then he said, let there be light, right? So if you're walking in that light, right, then it's important, right? It's very important to know that, okay, for a person walking to that light, they're pulling from something to be enlightening. They're pulling from a source. The light, scripture says, how great is that darkness? If it says, it talks about how we're all made of light, and it says how great be the darkness if you think it's light that's in you. So for someone that's walking in light, they're pulling from something. They're being generated from something, from a source, right? Well, we know that source is from up above, pulling from that light, being enlightened. However, there's an opposing kingdom. When he swooped down, he hovered over the waters, intervened into this dimension, and it was spiritual warfare between two kingdoms. Well, again, you gotta go back into the previous videos to get more in detail about this, but now we understand, well, where did those spirits go? Throughout scripture, the opposing, anytime he encountered opposing spirits or judged them, where did they go, right? Well, now that we have some type of understanding of where they reside, now when you, again, remember I just said, if you're walking in light, you're pulling from above, you're pulling from a source. Well, if I'm walking in darkness, I have to be charged up as well too. I have to be pulling from something as well too, to be charged up in darkness, to continue walking in darkness, to grow in darkness. This is why you have witches that have strong powers, you know, witchcraft, sorcery, people that you go to for mediums to conjure up the dead. But all of that, you have to be doing something. It's a source. It's a source that you're pulling from. So the picture I'm trying to paint, and you know, I'm pretty sure a couple of you by now understand that, well, they're pulling from a spiritual source as well too. But that spiritual source is the opposing kingdom, right, to light. And what's opposite of light? Darkness. Okay. So today, I'm gonna have like a few clips that that's factor into this video, because I really feel like it's important to have visuals. For this particular video, it's important to have visuals so people can kind of see, you know, seeing is believing, but faith comes by hearing. So I'm just trying to tie it all into one, to where you can see it and hear what I'm saying, and it makes sense. You know, again, it's you do your own research at the end. Still, don't just take my word. I'm just trying to throw some stuff out here to make you think. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the first one. Okay.
Every time you watch a movie, you're witnessing a ritual, and it starts with the Columbia Pictures logo. That glowing torch lady isn't just art. The name Columbia ties back to goddess worship, Isis, Semiramis, Libertas, even the Queen of Heaven Jeremiah warned about. The robe, the torch, the cloud, it's false light, false authority, a goddess spirit lifted before the nations. Revelation 17 says the harlot sits on many waters, and Columbia is her disguise right in our faces before the film begins. 2 Corinthians 11:14. Satan appears as an angel of light. Revelation 17:1. The harlot sits on many waters. Jeremiah 7:18. Worship of the Queen of Heaven.
Now, who would have thought it was in our faces like that, right? Just like, you know, just like right in our faces every time. And as I was doing this study, I actually came to find out that the word Columbia has a spiritual meaning. It's not just like a neutral word. It is an ancient poetic name for America, linked to Columba, in parentheses, dove, right? Dove. But not Yah's spirit dove. Instead, it is tying to the Roman goddess worship and occult Freemasonry. Columbia. Now, that kind of... Okay, before I say that right now, this lady, Columbia, right, that's presented, that we just seen in this video, how do she look, right? What is she draped in? Robe. All right, she draped in a robe. What is she holding? A torch. And then what is behind her? What is she over? Clouds. So, lady holding up a torch, all right, and she's standing on clouds, as if she's bringing light over darkness, as if she's light over darkness, right? Now, what other figure is a lady holding a torch? You're right. Statue of Liberty. Only other figure that I know of that's representing, that has a lady holding a torch, as if she's a light bringer, right? Where's the lady? But where is the Statue of Liberty? On the waters. I mean, it's all, everything is spiritual. It's like, for real, just really all spiritual. You put that together, but I'm just, we just seen the video of how Columbia Pictures logo, every time before it comes on, is showing a lady that represents an ancient goddess, right? And this ancient goddess ties to occult and Freemasonry. Now, that goddess that is tied to, she's tied to being a goddess figure who was over waters. Right? And that same figure that we see on Columbia Pictures is a parallel of the Statue of Liberty that literally sits on the waters. Now the question becomes, well, why is it that Washington, D.C., aka is District of Columbia? Why? Just questions, questions. All right, questions. Now, we're gonna go ahead and go into our next video clip. Stay tuned.
What if SpongeBob wasn't just a cartoon, but programming to make children love the water kingdom the Bible warns about? SpongeBob lives in Bikini Bottom, named after Bikini Atoll, where nuclear tests left destruction under the sea. The characters aren't innocent. SpongeBob hides deception and playfulness. Patrick shows sloth, Squidward pride and vanity, Mr. Krabs greed, and Plankton envy. Revelation 13 says the beast rises from the sea, and SpongeBob makes that sea look harmless, even funny. It's not just entertainment, it's spiritual programming for the next generation.
Who lives in the pineapple under the sea? What? Like, come on, for real? Really? Before I was convicted on understanding that there was a water kingdom, it wasn't immediately when I was watching SpongeBob SquarePants that I thought it was any parallel to us or any type of spiritual message encoded in it or anything. But probably I don't want to put no time on it, but within the years, recent years, as I grew, right, in my walk, you just honestly, when you just start really to read your, your scripture, and you just start to be more in a line, right, with the Most High, and the Ruach is working within you, man. He's manifesting himself to you, just revealing more and more himself to you. Your spiritual glasses are just on all the time, pretty much. So you just see things. You're just seeing things. You're seeing things, right? So I start to see parallels, like, I used to think about like Sandy, right? Like, how I used to think like, okay, she probably represents us because she's the only one, like the people on earth. She represents us because she's the only person, because she can't breathe up on her. She got to wear the mask or whatever. Then I used to think like Platon and Mr. Crab, like Mr. Crab, his love for money. Platon was just evil. You know what I'm saying? Those, just things I just thought, but it was never to where I'm like, man, this is representing a water king. This is really actually a spiritually encoded, it's a spiritually encoded TV show that's giving worship to the Marine Kingdom. Never, not once did I think about that. Actually, me putting that together came about with this study of as I'm laying out the Water Kingdom, as through this study. So let's just kind of break down. Put your spiritual glasses on with it. Let's walk through this together, and let's see if you see what I see. If any of this makes sense, any parallels. All right. So first, let's start with the character of Mr. Krabs. All right. So Mr. Crab, what color is he? What color is Mr. Krabs? Under the sea. Red. Now again, we got our spiritual glasses on, so we're gonna look at this from a spiritual perspective. Mr. Krabs under the sea represents red, but in scripture, what do red represent? Sin, blood, greed, war. Okay. I mentioned Mr. Krabs is literally obsessed with money. Literally, he put anybody and anything, nothing comes before his money. And it shows this in our children TV show. This behavior, this love for money is demonstrated in our children's TV show. Okay? Red figure, love for money. All right? He literally is the example of Matthew 6:24, where he says you can't serve both money and God. He is a walking example, okay? This is Mr. Krabs. All right? Now, let's talk about his daughter. All right? Now, who is his daughter? Pearl. Okay? But what now? Mr. Krabs is what? A crab, right? Representing the red dragon system up underneath the sea. That's really what he represents, because again, we're talking about he got SpongeBob in bondage. He got the love of money going on. He's greedy. All right, he serves money. All right, but his daughter is Pearl. Well, what is Pearl though? A great whale. Not just a great whale, a giant. Again, spiritual glasses on. Let's keep our spiritual glasses on here, okay? Now, giants in scripture, what do they represent? Nephilim? Offspring of the fallen ones? The fallen? Okay? You find that in Genesis. All right? If you was to look at Pearl, there's no features that make you be like, oh yeah, that's Mr. Krabs' daughter. This is what happens when DNA mix. When DNA that's not supposed to mixes. This is what we call hybrid creatures. Okay? I'm just putting it out there, okay? Now, next, Sandy. All right? Sandy Cheeks. All right, now. Sandy is actually her character, like, you know, they tell you she's not from here. She's from Texas. She's from Earth. All right? No wonder she's brown. Okay? Hey, no wonder. No wonder. I'm just saying. But she's from Earth. All right? Now, she's forced to wear a helmet, or if you want to call it a mask or whatever, you know, but she's forced to wear this with oxygen, literally for her to survive in another realm. That's where she isn't from. Again, we talked about Mr. Krabs. We're gonna get to SpongeBob. We're gonna get to Plankton. We're not gonna talk about Plankton for real, but SpongeBob, and we talked about Mr. Krabs, and then we talked about his daughter, which is the whale, right? Well, all of them are sea creatures. Not one of them are brown. Okay, just hear me. But the one brown creature that's under the sea, in the atmosphere she doesn't belong, where they make sure they let you know she's from above, literally stands out. And she's mocked. And she's mocked. Now who? We're not gonna go there. But think. All right. This shocked me too, right here. All right, now, as I was doing this study, Bikini Bottom, which is the actual setting for this place, right, is mimicking a place called Bikini. What's the Bikini Autumn? Let me look this up real quick. Hold on. Let me look that up. This Bikini. What's the name of that word? I want to give y'all the actual name of that word so you can look this up yourself. Okay, here we go. Okay. The setting. I'm trying to think. Where's this word called? I was just looking it up. I'm trying to look for my Google searches because I know it's up in here. Because like I said, Bikini Atoll. Bikini Atoll. That place is a place that the U.S., right? We have set off so many nuclear bombs inside the oceans. There, so many nuclear bombs has been set off where now they consider that a wasteland under the sea, in the waters. Okay? Now, that happened so long before SpongeBob came out. All right, but they so happen to call this Bikini Bottom. Put it together yourself. I just want you to think. That's all I'm trying to do is just have you all to think. Now, if we think about SpongeBob, right? You know how he acts in this. Him and Squidward, they like SpongeBob. You know, if we look at SpongeBob in this show, he's kind of like the innocent. He's kind of innocent for real. He don't know nothing that's going on. He's just he's like deceived, not really knowing people intentions, what's going on. He just love everybody and want to be accepted by everybody. friends with everybody. All right, and then his best friend, which is a starfish. Okay, he's lazy. He's like a sloth. You know what I'm saying? But together, right? Both of them are spiritually ignorant to truth. Why? They're distracted by the things that's going around. They're, filled with laughter, and then SpongeBob, he has to work all the time, So due to their spiritual ignorance is the very thing that keeps that system going. Spiritual ignorance is the very thing that enables an oppressive system. All right? I just want you to think about that. Just think. All right? So, I also would like to add, because I got like a couple just logos. I just kind of I'm gonna throw in here that I want you to look at. For instance, like the Little Mermaid. All right, it's gonna be a picture that pops up, and I just want you to see. It's the one with Chloe. When she was Ariel, when she came in. Now it's the picture, and it's her under the sea, but it got these spirits in the background. And I just want you to think, based off this whole, not just today's study, but this whole series we've been talking about. Just what pops in your head? What do you think of when you see somebody who's half woman, half fish, under the sea, surrounded by spirits? What do you think is going on? What kingdom do you think this is of? Then I'm gonna show a description of what she mimics, which is coming from the Mami Wata, which is from African, ancient. These are ancient times, okay? Worship of a goddess. And I want you to see in the descriptions that I put out here, you pause it, rewind it, pause it, screenshot, whatever you have to do, and you read the parallels. Okay? You ask yourself, is Disney possibly a part of a system or a part of a propaganda to push the Marine Kingdom on our kids? Is SpongeBob, now, not from we just looking at it as entertainment, but from a spiritual perspective, right? From when we read the scripture and see what it's saying, what he's really talking about, right? When we break it down, we peel back that translation and we go deeper to what that word means, and then we pull back that translation and we see where the original word came from, and now we having a full understanding of when this was wrote, what it was meaning, what it was meant for. Not this this diluted, like how when you I'm just gonna use this example, like Blue Magic. Remember in what's that movie with Denzel Washington, Blue Magic, American Gangster, and he got mad at old dude because he had his product, which is Blue Magic. This is coming straight from me. But then when you take stuff straight from me and then you add your little touch to it to try to stretch it because you want extra profit, well, it's not as potent no more. It's not as strong. Well, that's what we have to do when it comes to these scriptures. And that's a little bit of what we have done up until this point, is we have went back, we have gotten it potent. We want potent scripture, not just this extra layered to deceive us type of scripture. So with our spiritual lenses on now, and we look at this, and we see, the mermaid underwater, half fish, half human. We see SpongeBob underwater, enslaved to a bondage system with Mr. Crab who loved money. Okay? We see his ignorance underwater. We see that. We see that the only creature in SpongeBob that possibly represents a reflection of us is brown, underwater, but has to wear a helmet. Because that brown thing that represents the earth doesn't fit in. We see this. Now you ask a question of why Aquaman was so. What's the big deal with Aquaman? Or remember Wakanda, the second one, I think it was the Wakanda Forever. Remember the beings that was underwater? That was what they was doing, coming up to enchanting. And when they was enchanting from underwater, what was they causing them people to do? Come into the water. What did the pigs do when they was filled with the demons? Went into the water. We just start to. Now you can see how my mind. I can go on and it's so much. But I don't want to over put too much out there for y'all to digest. I just want y'all to take some of this digestion. Just look some of it up and pray on it. And the last couple things I like to add and put into here is that I'm gonna have a couple music videos that I want you guys to check out. And again, with your spiritual lenses, based off everything we said in scripture, based off scripture, just look at it. When you understand meanings, skip if they label it entertainment. Skip if they label it a dance. Skip what they label it. We understand what it means now. The meaning is what's important. So I'm gonna leave y'all out with a couple images, logos. Check them out. Leave feedback in the comments. Share, like, subscribe. Most importantly, stay woke, and may peace be with you. Until next time.
Here we got the Little Mermaid making a deal with the evil witch. Underwater with spirits. Now it's showing you who the Little Mermaid really represents. Starbucks logo. Music videos to check out. Subscribe and stay woke.